Are you or your kid struggling with math? And are you looking for ways to reinforce that at home? This is perfect. It lays out like the basic foundation for math. It would be good for preschoolers, kindergarteners, maybe first grade. It's a good like learning visual and tools. It's got a bunch of different activities from it. And it goes from numbers 1 to 5 and then 5 to 10. It also pairs with videos on YouTube that go along with each kind of activity and lesson. It's got character cards. Now, I find that I connect better if there's a character to something that I can learn about. And I remember having a tool similar to this when I was younger. Not the exact same, but we had these little connecting colored blocks of like all different colors. But these ones come with little faces. You can build them out. Here's my number 3. He's super cute. He looks like he's got a little few buttons on his little shirt. I made the different faces. I had to build them, which if you don't want to struggle like I did, I built Lego sets, detailed Lego sets, and I've not struggled as much as I did putting these little math pieces together. Little did I know until the end, there is a character guide to building the characters at the back. Like, I didn't understand the face plates and like how many of them I was supposed to use, and I'm like, I don't have enough, and I couldn't figure out why, and like I'm like, I don't feel like I have enough stickers. Definitely take this and try to build it like this. Now, I still feel like I don't have enough cubes because I couldn't build like this 10 like this. But you can always like take your 10 and take the face off and change the formation of your blocks. So that's not too bad. And then I had like extras of like some of the smaller blocks to make like extra characters. I was like, maybe I'm doing this wrong, but no, I followed the character instructions. And to begin with, you're gonna start with the character cards, and these are just supporting activities. Like, for instance, there is a 0. There's a 0 over here. You're gonna have your kids trace that. You might ask them which plate has 0 pancakes. Clearly that one. Which nest has 0 eggs? That one. Pretty simple. You might do the number 1, and this one's a little different. You're gonna have them trace the 1. You might ask them how many circles are there? 1. Or, how many balls? 1. How many cupcakes? 1. How many flowers? 1. And then you might say, what is 2 minus 1? And then it's 1. So these are just to support kind of in the background. And you get to learn about each character's, a few math facts, and you get to trace. Tracing is really good with that repetition and that sensory input. I know I was a very tactical kid growing up. I know everybody has different learning styles. Whether you're a visual, auditory, or more hands-on learner. I needed that sensory input when I was learning. And I needed characters I could relate to. Because sometimes you could explain it 1,000 ways, but until I could relate to it and see it in my head, I couldn't understand it. And these characters are relatable. It will tell you, like, for each activity after you do, like, the character card activities, which they do actually give you, like, a little guide of things you might be able to ask. Like, when there are no cakes left on the plate, you have 0. When all the birds have hatched and flown away, you have 0. And you can read about the number. I'm the number for nothing. I'm less than 1. If you've nothing of something, then I'm the number for none. When there's nothing there to count, none is the amount. And so you can read that for each number to kind of introduce them to the numbers. And then there's the different activities, and these go with these activity cards. Each card is numbered, and they are double-sided. And for each card, it'll tell you like some episodes of the number blocks, and they're on YouTube. I just like follow them, and it's free to watch them. And it tells you like episode 1, episode another 1, and episode 2 you can watch at either before or while your kid is doing the activity. And it tells you what you'll need for each activity and what skills. Like for this one, counting to 1 and 2 is more than 1. Counting to 1, 2 is more than 1, and counting to 2 is the skills you're going to need. And then you're going to need 2 number blocked 1s and 1 number block 2. So we're going to need number block 1. We're going to need number block, where's my number block 2? I had him a minute ago. Oh, here he is. And I have number block, here's an extra number 1. You can see on the placemat, here's where number 1 is going to go. And then number 2 would go like right there with the orange outline. And then it kind of guides you in the book because, you know, sometimes we need guidance, as adults, because we're not. I don't have the education of a teacher yet. I would love to go to school to be a special ed teacher or like a therapist of some kind. Maybe someday I'll go to college. I would love to be like a recreational therapist. But anyways, that's off topic. So it'll say like, look at the left-hand side of the card. What can you see? 1 sun, 1 bee, and 1 tree, and a bird. Compare the objects. Pay attention to their size. Note that the whale and tree are much bigger than the rest, and yet their quantity is still 1, and is the same. Then you place number block 1 on the red square. You discuss how number 1 might be feeling, being there all alone. And then you can look at the right hand of the card, identify the objects, like the bicycle, for instance, the tennis rack, and observe that there are 2 of them when they are in pairs. So for like the bicycle, this would be like the seats and the wheels. Move number block 1 to the bottom orange square, and then what do you notice? Can 1 ride the tandem bicycle or play tennis alone? No, she needs a friend. Find another one. Can she fit in another orange space? Count the 2 1s. What do they make? 2. Swap number block 2 for the 2 1s. Explore how 1 and another 1 combine to make 2. They are equivalent in size. Also note, 2 can be separated into 1 another. 1, this is known as partitioning. And now the 1 and 2 are placed on the card. Number 1 will no longer be lonely. She has a new friend. And then what I would ask as like follow-up questions is which number is larger or bigger. So like the activity said, we got our 1. We want our 1 to go over here. It needs a buddy. You click it in place, and now it makes 1, 2. So we have 2. And then we're going to replace that with the number 2. And then with the number 2, if you subtract 1, you wind up with the number 1 again. And it's a very good visual aid. But I would ask, like, you know, which number is larger, the 1 or the 2? And whatnot, because I know that's also something in math that we did a lot in, like, first grade, was, like, picking which number was larger or was more than or less than. But I love the characters. I think they're super cool. I love the little stickers, and that I got to place them on. I was super excited about that. And that the activities are simple. The videos were so easy to follow along with, and they were entertaining. They were singing some songs and stuff. Now, the one worry I would have with because this is like a great math activity and game, and something you could actually use in homeschooling for math, along with math workbooks and things, to kind of get the beginning foundations of math. And it's going to get harder as you go on. So, like, for instance, this activity, you're going to get number blocks 3, 2, and number block 1. And you're going to put, like, the numbers, match the numbers to the little cups. So there is, like, a 1. I kind of want to figure out how to, there's, like, a 1, a 2, and a 3. And then on the next line, the 3, the 2 goes here, and the 1 goes here, and so on. I just knocked over the 2. I just pushed number 2. How mean. But you're going to do like that, and then 2, 1, and 3, and then there's like 3 more that you can match. And so each activity is different and, you know, mathematical, and kind of goes with the episodes. And I like that it starts from the very basics and then expands. There were a couple other kits made that also expand on that, on this, that are number block kits that I saw, and I'm thinking about getting it, because you can get like a kit that expands, I think, to like 100. And then there was like a little train one I saw that looked really cool, and I want the train. Not even gonna lie, but this is like a good game to play also, like, over the summer or at home, to, like I said, reinforce those math skills, and to learn through play. And it's a good activity to do during homeschool for 30 minutes once you're done your math work. Is kind of a reward. Because I know when I homeschooled, we did math games, we did workbooks, we read books, we did writing prompts, we went to museums like the Museum of Travel, we went to the Maine State Museum, we went to libraries as like outings into historical places, and like the Botanical Garden. Like, we did a lot of different things incorporated into our homeschool. And we read like history books and magazines, and, you know, there's a lot you can do when you're homeschooling, but there also are ways you can incorporate hands-on and fun activities, and this would be one of them that I think would be great to add to like your homeschool curriculum. The only, like I said, the one thing I would worry about is a kid associating the number with the color of the blocks. Like, this is 5, the block is blue. This is 3, the block is yellow. And associating it with the characters. But this is not the only math tool that we are going to use in my family. Like, we always combine different math games and different math tools. So that might help. And I guess another way you could kind of solve that is maybe character number 5, he wants to look a little different today. Maybe he wants like a nice purple, pink, green. Maybe he wants a green dress and some purple shoes. And then do the activity again and see if your kid can still understand it, so you can really see that they've mastered the skills. Maybe we want to make a pattern on character number 5. This is a great way to practice patterns. So we need to make this 5 blocks long, and maybe we want a green. I don't want that color. I don't want this one. I feel like there's never enough like extra blocks. And I want extras. And this is why I would recommend buying more than one of these math kits. I would start with this one, and then I would get the other ones because they come with more cubes and more activities. But maybe number 5 wants to wear a green and white striped outfit. And maybe the pattern is, so there's 5. And then you can ask your kid, what would be the next cube in the pattern? Well, that would be white. Now we're learning pattern recognition. So you don't have to like stick completely to the book with these or completely to the activities. This is just a fun resource and visual way, and that comes with some already put together activities that you can use in learning math. But I would get creative and do some things of my own with these that would hopefully help, so the kid does not just associate the number with the color. I think that can be done. But like the blocks I had in school, they were not character related. They were just just cube shaped. And I remember, like, I loved them to fidget, but they didn't, like, I couldn't relate to these cubes. I was kind of bored with the cubes. After so long, like, I was done. The cubes themselves helped me get the math concept, but I think I would have gotten it better if I could have related to them and they were a character, because that would have been interesting. As somebody with autism, if it's not only do I have autism comes with co-occurring disorders often, so like sometimes ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression. Now just because you have autism doesn't mean you're going to have all of those, but you might have like one or another. And I have ADHD with mine. And if it wasn't interested, it was not getting into my little autistic brain. It was done for. I actually remember in school, my dad, I was having the worst time with math, right? Not getting it. I'm not getting the concept. Was struggling to relate to the problem. And we were all having a miserable time. My mom's frustrated because, like, she wants me to learn and be successful and achieve anything I set my mind to and whatnot. And education is very important to her. She was, like, a young mom. And so, like, she really fought for us when it came to anything educational. That's another reason I want to share these educational activities you can do with your kid to reinforce what they learned at school, or maybe to practice skills over the summer so that they don't regress or fall behind. And why I'm very passionate about that and want to show you the tools to maybe set up your homeschool curriculum, because sometimes school, the way it is, traditional school doesn't work for everyone, and there are other options out there. I know for me, it wasn't working in middle school, so after a couple of years in middle school of really trying, we homeschooled. It worked better for me. But yeah, I remember coming home so frustrated with math, And my dad just couldn't, he's showing it to me in so many different ways. I'm trying my math homework. It's me that has to solve it. So my dad's not going to do it for me. Because I'm not learning anything then. And it's just going to be harder the next time I have a math paper. He was not the type of parent to, like, give you the answers and whatnot. And so he is beyond frustrated. My mother's frustrated. My mother, who had tried to working with me on that math homework paper that I had for like 2 hours, gave up in frustration. Like, she was done. Like, she was yelling. She had gotten to the point where that's how frustrated she was. And I'm over here crying because I just don't understand. And my dad is just really trying to figure out how he can get it so I can relate to it. And I collected dolls at the time. And so my dad is like, if you have $40 to buy 5 different dolls, how much money do you have to spend on each dolls? And I'm over there like, okay, I got $40. I want to buy a Monster High. I want to buy, 2 Barbies, and I want to buy 30. And I have to spend an equal amount on each. And that's what he said. And so I'm doing the math. And by the end of it, I was like, 40 divided by 5 is, and I had figured out the answer. Because, like, 5, 10, 30, 40, 50, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It's 8. It's been a while since I've had to do math. Forgive me. But I also, like I said, I had a brain injury. I had to relearn a lot. So, like, I've been doing some of these activities myself as I've been reviewing them, trying to catch up on those skills, because I do want to eventually go to college and maybe seek further education. And I really want to hone in on some of those skills because I'm very intelligent and I want to get to, like, ready so that I can be ready for college again. And so I've been trying to learn as well. And you can never practice the basics enough, in my opinion, because, like, repetition and having that stuff to memory and in your head important. But yeah, my mom really valued education. And so that's, like I said, if I couldn't relate to it and it wasn't interesting to me, it just, the whole concept, it wasn't getting in my head. And so as I'm watching these little number blocks YouTube videos, I'm like, these characters are relatable. They're singing happy songs. They're kind of catchy. And, like, the whole concept I found relatable. And I found the characters relatable. And as a kid, this is something I would have loved as a math activity. I also would have loved the little colory backgrounds. And I would have just found this enjoyable. It was also hands-on. It would be a great visual. Because I was a very visual and sensory and definitely tactile learner. I had to see it, I had to see it and hear it to kind of take it in. So yeah, I would recommend, and the fact that they break it up so you start with, the fact that this is a 1 to 10 activity set, and they break it up so you've got lessons for numbers 1 to 5, and then kind of one that's, I think, combining all of those skills, and then you've got, like, lessons for, like, other numbers, and, like, you're just gonna go through them all. I mean, there are a lot of activities in this, because, like, it flips open, and then it also, oh my goodness, there are even more activities than I realized too, because you got, like, all of this. So you got all of this, which, wow, okay. These are all, okay, these are activities, but this is, like, the Spanish side. Okay, so you got everything in Spanish there, And you got all activities here. So you got all of these, plus the ones on the back there. And then this side is in Spanish, so don't get overwhelmed. I was like, I didn't look at every single activity yet, but yeah, this is great. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I think it's a great break, a good refresher. And like I said, I would not worry too much about the color recognition, because I think there are creative solutions to get around that. But I know I like these better than the average little number blocks that I had. I mean, the number blocks that are like this, they work for a lot of people. The ones that aren't characters, they do work for a lot of people. They did not work for me. And that's just how it was. Because I need something like a character I can relate to. And, you know, having the little show to go along with it and the little songs to help you remember it. All of it just is great. Plus, like I said, the tracing elements. I love this math kit. And then they have one that I think goes like from up to like 100 or something. I know they had the train set. They had a few. I'm gonna link this one in the at the bottom of this video, so you can get it from the TikTok shop. That's where I got mine. And I'm excited. This is what we're gonna be doing with my nephew. It's what I'm gonna be doing if one of my friends asks me to watch their kids. We're gonna be playing some math games, and they're not gonna realize they're learning, and everything is all put together in one box with easy instructions so that I can help support them in their learning and have some guidelines, because I love instructions. I love instructions that are easy to read and that kind of guide me in anything educational. Like, give me instructions. We need more of that, because some parents, we didn't have stuff like this when we were younger. And some grandparents didn't, and some aunts and uncles didn't. And so, so having the guidelines and being able to know kind of what to ask, along with maybe some of our own ideas, I think is great. Like I said, my idea would be also to use it for pattern recognition, change up the blocks. I think that would be cool, but I think there's a lot of ways you could use this. I would recommend it. But like I said, my learning experience may not be the same to your learning experience. This is just one activity of many that we do at my house for educational purposes. And it's combined with a lot of other activities, as well as workbooks and practice sheets and whatnot. So yeah, I hope you guys like it. I know this was a really long review, but I thought it was important to actually show you how it worked, and explain the pros, but also go over some of the things I might worry about, and ways to solve that. So yeah, tell me what you think. I love it. I'm gonna get more of it. It's for ages 3+. You can never start math too early, because math is so difficult for some people. I know, me and my brother both at different times in our life struggled with math, but once we caught on to the concept, we would fly. And that's how it was for any subject we struggled on. We would do, we might struggle or be delayed in some areas, or have trouble getting the initial concept, but once we got it, and we would just speed off, and then we would go from being behind to grade level to past our grade level. So Yeah, but I'm glad you guys watched, and I appreciate it. I'll see you next time, besties.